Hello everyone, welcome back to our series Understanding CBET. And in our tutorial today is our part 5 and the last part on performance criteria weighting tool that you have been continuing understanding how you're able to calculate performance criteria weights. And today you want to use our rough sketch to now populate our performance criteria weighting tool. And it's good that we understand what are the components of the performance weighting tool. So it has a unit of competency and the unit code. And then it has elements, ranking, weighting conversion by 100%, then weighting of elements by a factor. And we did talk about how to derive that factor. And from there, we are now going to distribute the weight to theory and practicals, depending on the level of that qualification. And then it has performance criteria, where now we are going to allocate the marks as part of either theory or practical. So I've already pre-populated the performance criteria for that unit of competency that we were looking at. So let's dive in and see how we're able now to populate this tool using our rough sketch that we made in our previous video. So allow me to bring the two into focus. So on my left is our rough sketch that we made, and the factor that we're going to use to populate our PC weighting tool is the number of tasks. So let's see how we're able now to populate this tool. So the unit of competency is perform hematological tests. So this is my OS. So if you have a soft copy, just copy paste it, and the unit of unit code is already here provided. So now let's move to the other aspects of the tool, and that is the elements. I've already again pre-populated all the elements for my OS. So let's go to ranking, and already started by with element number 1. So element number 1 has is ranked number 5, so it's 5. Weight by conversion is 24. Weight by factor 3 is 72. I believe that's the end for that. So let's see how now we're able now to. So this is level 6. But we did talk about TVET-CDACC giving us the distribution of theory and practical. So level 6 is 50 by 50, and that is you divide 72 by 2, you get 36 for theory and 36 for practical. If it was level, say level 3, you can use the ratio now to get the ideal mark or weights for theory and practical. So you realize you have theory 36 and practical 36. So you're going to use the 36 for theory here, and you're going to distribute across the 5 performance criteria for that element, and then theory the same. But for now, let's see how we populate the rest of the elements. So we have already populated a performance criteria weighting tool, and so far we are able to manage to populate up to all the elements, 1 up to 6. So the big chunk of work is now to distribute the theory and the practical weights into the PC for that element. So in this case, element number 1 has 5 performance criteria, and therefore we need to distribute 36 marks for theory across the 5 performance criteria. And again, look at the same performance criteria. Now look at the practical bit and distribute uh, the same marks, 36, into the 5 performance criteria. So it's very critical that you read your performance criteria very well so that you're able to understand, are they theory related? Are they knowledge based or performance based? Does it require the candidate to have the theory bit or also the practical bit? So there are some performance criteria that will denote knowledge-based PCs. Some will denote uh, performance bit, and therefore it is upon you as a developer of this tool to look at some of those wordings that have been used. In this case, action verbs that has been used to derive the performance criteria. Again, I'll refer you to Bloom's taxonomy, looking at the different level of cognitive domains, the 6 areas from knowledge to execution. So there are different verbs that has been used in some of these performance criteria, either to denote knowledge or performance. So in this case, if you look at performance criteria 1.1, it talks about request form is received. So this is an action verb. And then there is an interpreted. So there is interpretation of the request form according to laboratory standard procedures. So as a developer, then you need to sit down and look at these performance criteria. Is it knowledge based or is it performance based? Do I need my student to have the knowledge about the request forms, and how do they need to interpret? So some of these decisions are usually made when at the initial phase of preparation. Okay, so these verbs are going to help you in terms of actually distributing. So there are pieces that you can test the theory at the same time you test practical. So in this case, for me, I'll distribute this as the follows. I'll give 7 marks for this question for theory and practical 8. Again, you need to, as the owner of this tool, you need to distribute accordingly based on the understanding of the type of verbs that have been used. So always ensure the total marks needs to be 36 for theory and 36 for practical. So I've already distributed my 36 marks for theory and practical as so. Then you get your totals. Your totals here need to be 36, 36. So you do that for all elements and all the performance criteria for each element. So I've already populated all the performance criteria using the figures for theory and practical. So our ratio here is 1 to 1. The total here should be 150, 150. Again, for weight by conversion, this will be 100, this will be 300, then each will be 150, 150. So basically, this is how we populate our PC weighting tool. So something to note is whatever score you have allocated here, these marks, when you'll be setting your exams or your assessments, you're going to allocate equal marks. So it depends. You can do one question for 7 marks, or you can distribute several questions just from one performance criteria. And it is recommended that you need to test each and every performance criteria. So you're saying that performance criteria 1.1, if you are to do written assessment, then this PC will account for 7 marks. So you can do one question of 7 marks, or you can divide it further and have several questions just coming from the same PC equal to 7 marks. That's what it means. So you need to test each and every performance criteria, and you need to allocate marks that has been given in this tool. So this tool will act as a guide when you'll be allocating marks when you're developing your assessment tools. Could be written assessments, could be orals, could be practical, and many other types of assessments. So basically, this is how we populate this tool, and you're going to see how in our next video, see how now we use these marks to derive different questions uh, to test this particular performance criteria. So thank you again for your support. And in our next video, we'll now focus on candidate assessment tools or assessment tools. And our guide will be this performance criteria weighting tool. And that's what we are going to look at in our next video. As always, thanks. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. Let's comment, let's subscribe, let's like the videos, and also share to those who are in need. So let's meet in our next video on supporting tools, and we'll be looking at assessment tools. Thank you.